Let me fix my
You
hair.
need some volume.
Oh yeah, I need some volume. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very sciencey.
So when I was 14, I was a freshman in high school, and I signed up for auto tech, because that's what all the dudes were doing. And auto tech was full, so they stuck me in ceramics, and all I could think about was tiles and retired women, I guess. And that's fine, but I got in there and I realized that the class was just sitting there with friends working with clay, and it was an amazing material, and we just hang out. I made some of my best friends in that class. After that, I got hooked. I met Warren McKenzie, who's a legendary potter in Minnesota, and that kind of changed my life. I saw his lifestyle, and he was just the coolest. He was an alchemist, and the way he worked with clay was just such a beautiful dance with the material, and he lived in the woods. So I got kind of hooked, and I didn't stop making pots since then. I moved to Portland, Oregon, and studied ceramics and anthropology out there, and then I went to Alfred University in upstate New York. I went there for engineering originally and ended up doing ceramic design and material science because I was really into geeking out about the materials and kind of the structure and backstory of ceramics. I got into porcelain because it's the purest and most refined ceramic materials. It all kind of started with red clay for a while. I pinched red clay. This is actually an urn that I made for my grandma this fall. She passed away, and I pinched it, and every time you pinch the clay, it really responds. It's a really malleable material. But the thing is it's really dirty. It's not refined. It has a lot of iron and titanium in there, which make them really dirty. And the porcelain is, the most special. So porcelain's white gold. It actually started world wars back in, the 14 to 1600s. The Chinese, they opened up the Silk Road and brought tea over to Europe. And so the Europeans were trading gold for porcelain, ships of gold. And then they realized that they could grow opium in India, and they traded opium for porcelain. So it really was one of the most valuable materials throughout, the past 2 millenniums. And the Europeans couldn't figure out how to make it because China had this mountain of porcelain. They pioneered it. The minerals in the mountain made this beautiful material because it's white, it's pure, it melts at a really high temperature, it's glassy, and it's really strong. And so we've embraced it here because for all those qualities, but recently we started making the lighting. And this lighting is made from the finest materials we can source, half of which are sourced in the mountains of North Carolina, and it's free of iron, so it's not red. Even though I did have my phase of pinching red clay, and there's something still very meditative about it. But yeah, porcelain is white gold. It's a really special clay. So everything we make is rooted in fundamental objective beauty, and so a lot of that has to go back to proportions and the way that shapes in nature and mathematics start to speak to humans objectively. There's a good proportion that people understand based off of the human body, based off of things found in nature. And when we started this new collection of lighting, we wanted to think about just basic geometry and just start with the proportions as utilitarian and also as aesthetic beauty. And so one of the shapes that we're launching here is our cylinder. And while it may not look like a cylinder, the exterior diameter is all cylindrical, and it's really it has a straight line going up. But I'm kind of over circles, everything in industry is made circular. You see the seam going halfway down. Next time you look at a water bottle or something, you'll see the seam where it was blown into. And with the ceramic process as well, everyone's throwing on the wheel, which is fantastic. I love the wheel, but I'm really excited about exploring other shapes, other geometry, and other proportions with the studio here at the Bright Angle. And so what we did is we created a modular mold system that breaks up proportions, geometry, and angles into ways that we can stack and kind of hint at different proportions. So one of them is our cylinder. And what I love about this is that it still has a cylindrical shape from top to bottom, but the profile is more complex. It's really based in a reflection of our design aesthetic, which is sleek, geometric, kind of elegant modern. And really embracing that is something that we're pursuing with this collection. And we've created this whole system of hundreds of different mold parts that are modular and stackable, and they're all rooted in proportions based in math with the golden ratio. And so next time I'm going to talk a little bit about that and explore what math means in design and craft. Thanks.